Are you still in a state of waiting for your manifestation as if it's on its way, it hasn't been created yet, because that is actually what's keeping it just out of reach? Here is exactly why your desire is already yours and exactly how to think from that reality. That is what I'm covering in today's video. Hey guys, welcome back. Today's video is overall about manifestation. It can absolutely be applied to your specific person, and specifically delving into how to think from the version and acknowledge and accept the version of the reality where you already have exactly what you want. Put your faith into already experiencing that reality and understanding that it's not on its way, hasn't not been created, it's not impossible, it's not out of reach. So you have to shift your mindset away from that. So I'm going to delve into all of that in today's topic. If you haven't yet, please do subscribe to my channel so you can stay up to date, because I post very regularly, pretty much every single day when I'm able to. So you want to stay up to date when you're scrolling your feed, your subscription feed, whatever the case may be. You can see all my videos all together, and I would very much appreciate that. Next goal is, of course, 15,000. So in in the future, anyone who's watching this video as a past video, who knows what number I'm at now, but we can kind of quantify my progress so far, almost at 15,000. And I know I will reach that very, very soon. So if you would like to be part of that, then welcome. Also, before jumping straight into the content and all my advice, I'll pop on screen things for anyone who's interested, bonus content, exclusive content, and one-to-one support. If you feel that you need that support and you want the extra content, I have some really inexpensive offers. I think especially in comparison to some of the other coaches in the market, I do price things very competitively and at a low price. So you do want to take advantage of that whilst you can. So yeah, everything, all the links are below. Take a look, especially for my membership, because you have a chance to partake in the Q&A before this video goes up. Well, yeah, once this video is up, it's still prior to the actual Q&A, so you can partake as a member. But now let's start the video. If you're waiting and you tell yourself and you think as if you're waiting for your manifestation, you are reaffirming that version, you are reaffirming that lack. And you're assuming that it's not here yet. You're literally focusing on the assumption and thinking as if my manifestation isn't mine, it's not here yet. And I don't mean logically or at moments. I mean overall, if you keep thinking from that and you don't kind of fix or push back against that mindset with a mental diet, then your subconscious is going to keep creating and keep reflecting outwards from that lack. Your assumptions are going to reflect in your external reality because you're thinking, it's not mine, I don't have it yet, I'm not living in that reality. If you don't apply repetitive conscious thoughts around that, more so than any lack or any type of doubt, you're going to keep your reality stuck like that. You cannot experience what you want if you have that kind of opposing or negative mindset. And in psychological terms, your reticular activating system, the RAS, I talk about this a lot, but it is important and it's an easy way to logically understand what's going on. It's also going to filter out externally in your reality for examples of where your focus goes. So usually a sign when you're manifesting is seeing reflections of what you're manifesting. But likewise, if your dominant focus and your dominant thoughts and concerns are still repetitively about lack, why is it not here yet? Why is it taking so long? This isn't, basically telling yourself versions of, this isn't what I want. This isn't the reality I'm manifesting. This is not my end result. Essentially affirming that. Your RAS is going to scan and look for and find examples of that. You're going to see, whether it's a reflection of your SP, things on social media, things on the news, just seeing a lack of what you want to see. If it requires communication and movement, you're probably not going to see that because your reticular activating system is going to find examples of why it might not be happening, proof of, seeing a lack of that visible movement. So it's not to say you've ruined it or you're not manifesting, it's just slowing it down. It's going to show you the opposite because your focus is going to be on the opposite. So you want to make sure essentially that you're not feeding into this idea of lack, that you don't have it, it's not here yet, it's not mine. You want to acknowledge that that reality is already yours. It's meant for you. That is just, of the highest good for you, right? Tying it into an OG teacher of manifesting, Neville Goddard said, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And if you're thinking the opposite, then you're not in that end state. You're telling your mind the opposite. So assuming the mental state of your wish fulfilled. He doesn't literally mean you have to feel the feelings that you would, in that end result. Yes, it helps to fully embody it, but he just means assume that you are already in that end result. It's all about the mental repetition, the mental practice. Emotions can tie into that. If you can do that, that's great. That's a bonus. But essentially, you want to think and mentally be in that end result. Assume that end state. So how would you think? How would you carry yourself? Just be and embody the identity of you in that end result. And if you're stuck in that state of waiting, it's the opposite. You're not embodying and focusing on the end result, even just thinking from the end result. You don't have to feel it, and you certainly don't have to believe it, which I'm going to point that out a little later in the video as well. But yeah, literally, if you're in that state of waiting and you're reminding yourself of that, you're thinking in that way, then that is the opposite of the wish fulfilled, because you're basically reaffirming a lack. And then, of course, in quantum terms as well, the quantum magnetic field that you're connecting to, the quantum reality of all parallel realities, every possibility you can exist has already been brought into creation. That reality and possibility for you already exists. Your life, here on earth is limitless. So you can experience the exact goals and type of reality that you want. Even, manifesting a specific person, that reality exists where you have that exact perfect relationship with your SP. So it's not your job to create or figure out how or to get to that end result. It's just to imagine yourself and hold that end goal and vision in your mind. So you are going to create that quantum connection. You're going to bring that reality into you. It's just going to be brought to you perfectly as it's meant to. And your only job is to focus on your mindset, because if you keep yourself in that state of waiting, doubting, and lack, then you're holding yourself outside of that reality. You're disconnected from the reality where you already have exactly what you want. So there's literal scientific evidence to support that this is real. This is how it works. So when you notice yourself thinking this way, flip it back around into the positive opposite. Tell yourself, nope, it's already done and it's already mine. Not only does it exist, I can envision it in my mind, therefore it's real. You have to imagine and observe something for it to come into fruition. You have to, be able to mentally embody or just think and imagine, this is what I want, this is my vision. It's already real. That you thinking it is proof and evidence that it's possible and it's real. And you have to hold on to that and remind yourself, it's already mine as well. It belongs to me. I have a right to experience this perfect reality, all my dreams and goals to come true. It exists, it's realistic, and it's already yours, because you are telling yourself that, you are convincing yourself of it, you are trusting in it, you're having faith in something outside of yourself as well. It's not up to you to figure out the how or force it to happen. You just hold that vision. So another little practice that you can do, it's kind of a mental diet, inner conversations, visualizing, acting as if. So just throughout your day, taking a couple small moments here and there, or even just once a day, make it a little practice. One extra task, one extra little thing. And this is normally the kind of thing I would share just in my membership videos, but a little extra task, 3 to 5 minutes a day. You can just do it once a day if you want to make it one little practice. Every single day, acting as if. What's one little thing that you would do in that end result? As if that is your reality, you're embodying it. If it's with SP, maybe starting to set a second dinner place, something the way you would be if you lived with your SP, if you were in that end result of commitment, a relationship, living together, marriage, whatever it might be. If it's a personal goal, just you embodying being in that end state of super successful, happy, confident, fulfilled. You're not stressed, you're not waiting or wondering, you're completely confident and self-assured because you're in that end result of having achieved your goal. So act as if from that, do a small little act, whether it's a visualization or just speaking out loud to yourself as if you're going about your day in that end result. Something fun and simple for a couple minutes a day to put you in that end state. And remember that repetition trumps belief constantly. Repetition surpasses what your current beliefs are, because it's temporary if you apply repetition to the opposite. So the negative is temporary, remember that. And repetition is going to override the negative beliefs. So keep repeating those positive affirmations or positive visuals, because that is what surpasses anything negative. It erases and replaces the negative. You're going to trust in and believe that reality. And you don't need to believe it or feel it. The repetition will build into it until eventually that becomes your automatic state. You start to automatically believe in that version of reality and, know that, yes, this is mine. I can have this. I can see it. I can embody it. I can, mentally embody it. it turns into that it's done, it's mind's mental state, and you will reach that naturally. It's not something you can really force. You can build it up, but it does build up naturally over time. So the more repetition you can apply, the more those negative beliefs or doubt that you're currently experiencing gets overridden. Also, make sure that you're not trying to chase or seek out and wait for validation of proof in the 3D. You don't need it. Again, it's easy to say, well, it's not mine, where is it? And get into that waiting state of, I'm trying to build into this, instead of repeating to yourself, I'm already in this end result, because that's what the point of your affirmations. So don't look to your 3D for proof, because it's delayed. There's a time lag, there's a delay. It's usually, especially with mental resistance or a larger goal, it's not going to reflect instantly. You are going to have to build it up, and your 3D is going to be delayed usually, even if it's a couple hours, a couple days. I'm not saying it's a long period of time where your 3D is rubbish or negative. It can happen quickly, but you have to remember, don't look to it for proof, or don't get impatient and say, okay, I've affirmed all day, why is it not changing? Disconnect from that and remember, it's delayed. It's not the evidence of my manifestation. So remember, when you have questions come up in your mind about, when is it going to happen? Why isn't it happening yet for me? Why is it not here? Why is it taking so long? Say, it's already mine. So how am I going to feel in this moment? It's already mine. So what am I going to think in this moment? What can I visualize right now to remind myself that it's mine? Flip it back around and turn it into a positive practice. Apply your mental diet. That's the best way to handle doubt. There's no logical unraveling. There's no logical answer. Again, you're putting your faith in something higher than yourself. So it's not for us to say, well, this is how it's going to happen. This is why this is happening. Understand that there's a delay with your 3D. So you're not currently seeing it right now. It's temporary, and you just need to keep thinking from that end result. So to analogize it, this came to mind when I was kind of prepping and planning for the video, but it does make sense. It's like the parable of the mustard seed, where you're literally growing something. So like the analogy and the kind of, also compare it to a proverb, like planting a seed, the roots are going to grow. It's underground, it's been planted. Just as I said, the parable of the mustard seed, that came to mind. That's also something that I studied at school, I remember. And literally it's going to grow, but you need to have faith, patience, and trust in the unseen, that you've planted this seed and you're going to watch it grow. It's going to sprout, but the roots are underground and it's growing and growing, and you can't physically see it yet. So you need the faith. Your faith is what's watering it. And likewise, you don't keep digging it up to check on the progress, because that slows down the progress and then you have to redo it. So remember, it's not a waiting game. It's guaranteed. Your manifestation isn't on its way. Physically, maybe in your 3D, it's on its way and conforming, but it is already yours. That reality is yours. That end result is yours. You have a right to it. You're creating it. Creating it in your physical reality, because it's already created, but it's yours and it's coming to you physically. So your 3D reality is going to have no choice but to conform and literally reflect that back to you. But it's your job to stay focused on that. Hold that vision, hold that end reality, and keep repeating it to yourself. So that is going to be today's video. I hope you guys found that useful. If you did, please do thumbs up and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell, and I'll see you guys next time.